Welcome back to part 2 of our series on the 12 principles of personal growth. In the first video, we laid the groundwork with 6 transformational principles that will help you break through the barrier and create lasting change in your life. So if you haven't seen part 1 yet, make sure you go check that out. In this episode, we're going to cover the remaining 6 principles that will challenge you to go further, push harder, and step into your full potential. So if you're ready to finish strong and take your personal growth journey to the next level, let's get it. Principle number 7, create before you consume. What if the first thing you did every morning wasn't checking your phone, but instead diving straight into your creative passion? Imagine waking up with purpose and channeling your energy into something that fuels your growth right off the bat. By prioritizing creating over consumption from the very start of your day, you set the tone for success. When you create first, you give yourself the space to breathe life into your dreams before the world pulls you into a million different directions. This simple shift can change everything about how you approach your day and ultimately your life. Your morning sets the pace. Starting your day with intention, it allows you to move throughout it with clarity. Think of the early hours as sacred, a time when your mind is fresh and you're not clouded by the demands of the day. By dedicating the first part of your day to creation, you're giving your dreams and your goals the priority that they deserve. In today's world, it's very easy to fall into the trap of mindless consumption. You open your phone to check the latest new social media post, start binge watching your show, and suddenly the precious time you had for you is gone. And the ultimate danger of consumption is that it can drain your energy. What most people do is they wake up, they groggily stumble their way to the coffee pot, they sit there, drink it, maybe they scroll on their phone, maybe they put on the TV. Or maybe they wake up in such a panic that they just throw some coffee in a to-go cup, throw on some clothes, get in the car and start going to work. And then we go on about our work day, and once we get off of work, we then either never get to our passion projects, or we try to muster up a little bit of the energy that we have left and give it towards that passion. Why not put you first? Aren't you worth it? And I also think that by controlling how and when you consume, you'll ensure that you don't siphon the energy away from what is most important. Creating requires focus. In order to make real progress towards your goals, you need uninterrupted time, a time when your mind is sharp, when your creativity is flowing, and when you're fully immersed in your work. This is what Cal Newport calls deep work. It's the kind of focused, undistracted work that leads to breakthroughs, innovation, and growth. The more you protect and prioritize deep work, the more you will ultimately achieve. Guarding your time for creation means creating blocks of uninterrupted time in your schedule. The key is to make deep work a non-negotiable part of your day. Principle number 8, make commitments, not just plans. Goals are wonderful. They give us direction and purpose, a clear picture of where we want to go. But without commitment, goals are just wishes. The problem many face is that they get stuck in the planning stage, dreaming of the future, thinking about how amazing it'll be when they achieve their goals, but they never fully commit to the process. And if I'm describing you, it's time to change that. Stop planning, start committing, because it is the commitment to the journey that transforms the journey. When you commit to something, you make the decision to keep going regardless of circumstances. It's not about waiting for the right moment or the perfect conditions. It's about showing up even when it's hard. Commitment also means that understanding that progress isn't linear, but that doesn't mean that you stop. It means that you're playing the long game and you're prepared to do whatever it takes, no matter how it seems. Staying committed is about showing up day after day, even when it feels like nothing's happening. Over time, that consistency builds momentum and leads to massive progress. Commitment is also about creating a routine that revolves around your goals, even when motivation is nowhere to be found. Motivation can be a great catalyst to get started, but it's discipline that gets us to the finish line. Motivation is an emotion. It's up, it's down, driven by how you feel in the moment. But discipline is a decision. It's the ability to do what needs to be done, whether you feel like doing it or not. There will be bumps, there will be detours, and there will be moments that cause you to question your commitment, cause you to question if you really, really want it. But when you build discipline into your routines, you create a foundation to keep moving forward on the hardest day. Principle number 9, learn the skill of emotional agility. Emotions are a fundamental part of the human experience. They provide us with valuable insights into how we are feeling, what we care about, and what might need our attention. But here's the thing, emotions can be overwhelming. Reason being is they can cloud our judgment, steer us off course, and sometimes prevent us from making decisions that are aligned with our goals. Emotional agility is the ability to move through your emotions, fear, doubt, frustration, without letting them control your actions. It's about acknowledging how you feel, but not allowing how you feel to determine your outcome. Growth happens when we can fully experience an emotion, but respond to it with wisdom. When emotions run high, it's easy to fall into the trap of reacting impulsively. Think about how you've responded to an email that made you angry, or a conversation that triggered your insecurities. How often have your knee-jerk reactions led to regrettable decisions and conversations? This is where emotional agility becomes essential. Can you respond rather than react? Instead of reacting automatically through your emotion, can you respond thoughtfully based on your values and the outcome that you want? Reactivity often comes from a place of fear or discomfort. When we are emotionally triggered, we might make decisions that protect us in the short term, but are not in alignment with our long-term goals and values. If you're frustrated by a colleague's behavior, your initial reaction might be to snap at them. They tap dancing on your last nerve. But if you pause and take a moment to reflect on the proper response, you might end up choosing to address the issue calmly, seek a constructive solution, or set a boundary instead of reaching out in anger. Responding rather than reacting allows you to make decisions based on your true self rather than being controlled by the momentary emotions that arise. This practice takes time, but with repetition, you'll develop the ability to pause and choose how you want to react, giving you the power to shape your outcomes rather than letting your emotions shape them for you. The thing I love about emotional agility is as you develop that skill, you'll notice that you're no longer a prisoner of feelings. You'll start to feel more confident in your actions, more presence in your decisions, and more peace in the midst of chaos. Emotions are powerful, but don't let them dictate your life. Principle number 10, build a reputation with yourself. One of the most important relationships you'll ever cultivate is a relationship that you have with yourself. How you see yourself, how you treat yourself, and how you show up for yourself lays the foundation for everything you do in life. Self-trust is at the core of personal growth and success. It's the unshakable belief that you can count on yourself, that you'll follow through, and that you'll own your needs and promises. Building a reputation with yourself means establishing a solid track record of doing what you say you'll do, which over time builds confidence and self-respect. Integrity, it is the integration of your words and your actions. A true character is what you do when no one else is holding you accountable. For instance, sticking to your workout routine when no one's there to push you. Choosing to follow through on work that's not mandatory. It's about developing the habit of follow through, not for the sake of others, but because you value your word and your ability to execute. Integrity with yourself is about being honest about what you're capable of, what you want, and what you're willing to put effort towards. This is how you build a reputation as someone who can be counted on, And it is an investment that will bleed over into the other areas of your life. Remember, every time you keep a promise to yourself, you're reinforcing the belief that you can count on you. Each act of integrity, no matter how small, adds to your confidence. And every time you choose discipline over distractions, this reputation doesn't just influence your ability to succeed, it shapes who you are at the core. By building a strong reputation with yourself, you create a life that is rooted in self-trust, in integrity, in self-belief, and in the unshakable foundation that propels you forward no matter what challenges you face. Principle 11, ask better questions. The quality of your life is determined by the quality of the questions you ask. Our thoughts shape our experiences, and the questions we ask ourselves are the foundation of those thoughts. When you ask disempowering or limiting questions, you create a mindset that focuses on the problem, focuses on obstacles. But when you start asking empowering, growth-focused questions, you open the door to solutions, to opportunities, and to progress. And it's time to shift from the why me mentality to a mindset of curiosity, of growth and clarity. Why me is the worst question that you can ask yourself. It fosters a sense of helplessness or victimhood. But if you can shift your focus from why me to what is this teaching me, the small change can drastically shift your perspective. And when you change your perspective, you change your outcome. Asking empowering questions also allows you to take ownership. When you're unsure of the right direction or you're feeling lost, it's easy to get overwhelmed by the sea of questions and thoughts that don't lead anywhere. That's when it's time to start seeking clarity. And it all starts by you asking the right question. Instead of wondering, what should I do with my life? Ask yourself, what do I truly want in this moment? What does success look like for me? Focusing on specific, clear questions, it helps you cut through all of the noise surrounding you and ultimately guides you towards meaningful action. Questions like, how can I get there? Or what steps do I need to take today? Help break down your big goals into manageable pieces. Ultimately, it's all about defining your vision and then asking yourself the right questions to help move you forward towards it. With clarity, you can focus your efforts and avoid wasting time on distractions or just aimlessly wandering. Another thought to consider when we're talking about asking better questions is that we need to embrace curiosity. I believe that curiosity is the key to continuous growth. It's the key to a level up. When you remain open to learning and discovery, you'll find that life is full of answers if you ask the right questions. Curiosity allows you to explore new possibilities, uncover hidden opportunities, and better understand yourself and the world around you. When you approach challenges with a sense of curiosity, you're no longer afraid of the unknown. Instead, you see it as an exciting opportunity to learn something new. Embracing curiosity also means being willing to ask questions that challenge your assumptions and beliefs. Sometimes the answers you seek, they aren't easy to find or they aren't what you expected. But when you ask bold questions, you open yourself up to new perspectives and deeper insights. So don't be afraid to ask the tough, uncomfortable questions. Those are the ones that often lead to the most profound growth. Principle number 12, live for progress, not perfection. Perfectionism is the silent killer of progress. It's the voice in your head telling you to wait for the perfect moment. It's the voice in your head telling you that this isn't good enough yet. It's the voice in your head that says, if you keep working on it, eventually you'll produce something flawless. But for many, waiting for perfection often means never starting. It is the very pursuit of perfection that can paralyze you, holding you back from making mistakes that will allow you to actively grow. And it's time to embrace the messy and the imperfect. Can you be okay with showing up every day, doing the work, and learning along the way? And I would submit this thought to you. The biggest barrier to growth isn't failure, it is the fear of it. Perfectionism convinces us that everything has to be perfect, but it is also the very mindset that keeps us stuck in inaction and indecision. I saw something the other day that said rich people make decisions fast. It is the broke that run it over and over and over and over in their heads. And the challenge that is presented here is the simple challenge of taking imperfect action. Starting before you're ready, it isn't just a catchphrase. It's a principle that drives growth. When you wait for the perfect condition to act, you end up wasting forever. But when you take the first step, even when it isn't perfectly executed, you create momentum. And I submit this thought to you, that it doesn't matter if you have all the answers. It doesn't matter if your first attempt isn't flawless. Spoiler alert, it won't be. What matters is you started. Perfection will always be out of reach. It's something that you can't obtain. But progress is something that you can create right now with the very resources and knowledge that you have in this moment. One of the key pitfalls of perfectionism is an overemphasis on outcomes. The obsession with the ideal end result can prevent you from recognizing the value of the process. It wasn't about the end. It was about who you've become in the midst of it all. When you live for progress rather than perfection, your focus shifts from achieving the perfect moment to valuing the effort that you're putting in every single day. You get over yourself and you start asking, what can I do today to move myself closer to my goal, even if it's not pretty? And when you begin to live for progress, you will begin to internalize your own sense of accomplishment. You'll look at how far you've come and appreciate the effort you put in, all the while continuing to move forward. And that's a wrap on the 12 principles of personal growth and transformation. From owning your story to living for progress, not perfection. These principles are more than just tips. They're a blueprint for life-altering transformation. It's about creating a foundation for lasting growth that can change your life. And I challenge you today to choose one principle. And you know what? You might even have to come back to this video, and once you get that down, choose another principle. But the transformation isn't in the knowledge you've gained. It's in the application. If you enjoyed this video, hit the subscribe button. I'm building a community of 100,000 expanders. And if you made it this far, you're in the right room. Always remember that growth is a journey, it's not a destination. I'm in it with you, and I'll see you on the next one.